Hello, Inspired Tribe. It's John Nolan here. It's good to talk to you this way. Sometimes it has to be a little different, but this is sort of a special transmission here, and a few thoughts that I really wanted to share with you that I've been walking with for the last 24 or so hours. And it is an observation, of course, of what is happening, but also in tuning in energetically and feeling what is happening in the invisible realm. And these things are overlapping right now extremely. I've talked about this. I call these things tipping point events, and we have just gone through a myriad of tipping point events, and the one that will tip the scale might be a lot closer than we think. I honestly, at this point, don't believe that we will make it to the 2024 election in the United States in a sort of still orderly manner. I believe that we will see greater chaos, and we will see kind of an upheaval, if you will, before that. It just appears that way, and there's a number of reasons. There is the acceleration of events, financially, economically, geopolitically, in the war. The war is now pretty much expanding into the full-on Asian region. You know, Ukraine, Russia is Eurasia, but it's not Asia per se. And of course, now we're seeing, the United States is deploying nuclear submarines to South Korea. And this might very well already happened. It's not about that. It's about the signaling that is coming officially, right? When this is being announced, when the media talks about this, then that's an official signal. And it doesn't come at it comes at an interesting time when at the same time Xi Jinping is talking to Zelensky about the Ukraine situation, first time since the war started. So you see, there are these power moves, and this just one event in isolation. But even if you look domestically, and I'm sure it's the same in your respective nation, but if we look domestically at the United States, so much is unfolding at such a rapid speed. It's like everybody is firing at full capacity right now everywhere. All agendas are being pushed and driven. And there's one element that's not being talked about enough, why I think this tipping point event is being accelerated and is coming much sooner than we think, and that is the deployment of these, at least to the public, new AI tools like ChatGPT and all the other tools that are now making it possible not just for people to make extraordinary amounts of money in a very short time, which it's literally the final nail in the coffin of the economy as we know it in the financial system, but it is also deploying information at an exponentially accelerated speed. And these tools can now not just be deployed by nefarious players, but the people at large are using them, and they will continue to use them to push forward agendas much harder and give it the appearance that a larger section of the real society of human beings is in support of them, because they can generate videos, blogs, audios, everything in a matter of seconds, and it has the appearance, because AI can now easily create a very simple blog website that looks great, but it's very simple to do in a matter of seconds. And now you have the appearance of, all these outlets, all these people speak in support of something, when really that's not the case. And this is what we're seeing, and that's why this tipping point event is being accelerated. I do believe that ultimately, because of this beautiful awakening movement, I have no fear, I've no panic. I've always known that this time is coming, and so the breaking down of the old structures is happening. But I do want to talk about it periodically, so people can kind of keep the eye on a ball. What is really important? There are different times call for different measures, call for different actions. This time calls for all of us, as I've said countless times, to take full responsibility for our lives, our necessities, our needs, and our well-being. And of course, that includes our family members, especially those who cannot take care of themselves. We really need to step up as adults here, become responsible, and make sure that our basic needs are met and that we can meet them, right? So it starts with the food supply. This is, we put all the links in the description. I've talked about this so many times, whether that's emergency food, growing your own food, having a seed bank, connecting with your local farmers, going to the farmers market, creating community, all these things, and having a supply on hand. The one thing that will make the difference, because when such a tipping point event happens, and I'm quickly explaining what I mean by tipping point event, we have all these things happening every day right now, and they're monumental oftentimes, but because so much is happening, the media just goes on to the next thing, attention goes on to the next thing, and still these events have a really huge impact. So they're kind of piling up, and then there will be at the top of that pile that one event that pushes it over the edge, and that ignites the whole thing. And usually, if you look at the start of wars, if you look at the start of riots or civil wars or whatever, the one thing that broke the straw, or the one thing that if you will broke the camel's back, it usually isn't as huge as you would think it is. It was just the last piece, right? The last piece in the puzzle. And we're very, very close to that. And I say this positively, because I know that the fallout will be chaotic and negative, but the ultimate result and where it will lead us and what it will inspire people to do will be very positive. I've always believed that. I continue to. We will go through some tough times. We will go through some dark valleys, and we will see some of the worst in humanity and some of the very best in humanity. But I firmly know, not just believe, we will come out on top of this, and the possibilities that we will have at that time to co-create what it is that we really desire will be much greater because of it. And that's just the way I see it. This is, of course, a mixture of gathering information and data and analyzing it. I do not believe you have to be a prophet to take into account what is happening, to analyze that data, and to come to certain conclusions. Many people that just use raw data and put it into various computer systems and algorithms come to the same conclusions. But it is also intuition. It is also tuning into the energies. Energetically speaking, there's only so much holding of energy that people can do physically. At a certain point, it has to come out, right? It's like when you're watching a movie that is very, very emotional. At some point, the tears start flowing, and sometimes you just start crying, outright crying. And I believe it's a good metaphor for what is happening. At some point, all the stored up, all the pent up emotions will have to come out. Will have to, show themselves, and that's the time that we're moving into, or perhaps already are in. So it isn't a get passive and fearful kind of call that I'm putting out here. It's more become aware. Do as much as you can on your own part, and always be a shining light, but also realize this has to happen. There is no if we try to turn back the clock now and normalize the current situation without going through the discovery phase, without going through the truth exposure phase, without going through the healing phase, which includes the meltdown and the breakdown, then we would just keep on piling up, and it would get much worse. I do believe that if we walk with honor, if we walk with integrity, if we walk with the knowing that we are divinely created in the image of the Creator, that we can truly use this period, this decade or couple of decades, whatever it is, however much longer it will take to transform and shift and become very clear on what we fully accept into our lives, what we do want to create, and what we absolutely do not want and will reject and will ultimately push out of the human picture, out of the human story. There are things currently, maybe technologies, maybe streams of thought and streams of belief systems that are so destructive that we are going to heal to a level where this won't be able to exist anymore. So this is kind of the short but sweet message that I hope that you perceive it as that, because it's really, I say this from a standpoint of excitement that the time is finally here. And as I said, it might be weeks, months ahead, until we get there, but the time is here. The general time period is here. There's no more denying it. And the Great Awakening doesn't look anything like most people expected it to be. My conclusion is, when it comes to full fruition, it will be much, much better than most people could have anticipated. So yeah, that's it from me for right now. Thank you for tuning in. You do know we love you. We appreciate you so much. And we're so thankful that we get to share this journey with you. So we'll talk to you soon. Much love. People ask me every day, Jean, with everything that's going on in the world, what can I do? My answer, start growing your own food. It's the best investment for your future and the future of your family. Whether you live in an apartment or have your own land, our friends at Food Forest Abundance will guide you every step of the way. Book your free consultation right now, no strings attached. Just click the link down below and get started today.